Should you treat him mean to keep him keen? What's the best way to turn a guy down that doesn't make him feel like shit? And what do you say on a date to get the guy having some decent conversation and talking about some decent topics? What's up, guys? It's Ask Mark, and today we're going from Mulaney, which is where we do some of our filming, my beautiful parents' house. And if you have a look at this, This is spectacular. That's what we're filming around today. Incredible, right? Absolutely incredible. So, guys, just before we get into it, thank you so much for all your support with everything. The channel is just going incredibly, and it's because you guys keep posting in these great questions and giving me lots of amazing material to work with, and you guys just keep contributing and getting involved. So I really just love all of you for it. Today we've got some really cool questions being sent in, so let's get straight into them. The first one comes from Ellen, and Ellen writes, "Hey Mark, I'm a new subscriber and really love your content so far." Thank you so much, Ellen. I liked what you said in the video about the difference between being picky when dating and having standards, and how it is important for women to date more men. That was Ask Mark number 6, by the way, guys. A really good question from JJ. If you haven't watched that one, I'll pop the link in the description, but go and have a watch of that one as well. Ellen says, "I've actually been going on a few more dates." Nice. "And I've recently, I'm used to recently, but with dating more men that are out of my comfort zone, I've also realized that I'm going to come to the conclusion some of them will not be my type." Absolutely, 100%. This is always going to be a follow-on from the advice to JJ. And we'll have to cut them loose. "I really don't know how to reject someone after the first date or a couple of dates in that manner and feel terrible leading a guy on for weeks only to realize that I'm not really into him. How would you recommend me handling scenarios like this? Thank you for everything." I love this question because it's such a... She really cares about the guys, and she's really saying, I don't want to leave them worse than how I found them. And I think that's a great attitude to dating, and we've all got to think, how do we go into this, and if the person isn't right, how do we still leave them not jaded at the other gender or at dating, and make things nice again and not repeat this pattern of everyone feeling cruddy about dating? So Ellen, you brought up a great question. Here's the thing. First of all, you said about leading guys on. So there shouldn't be any leading on. I mean, if you're going on a few dates, you're getting to know the guy. At that point, he shouldn't be assuming a relationship or assuming anything more than it is. That's his sort of misdirection, and that's his responsibility. If he's assuming more than it is, you just want to make sure you're not saying, "Hey, I can't wait for our future together," and "Hey, I love hanging out with you every night," and then you drop him on his ass, because that would be leading him on. But here's the more important thing about rejecting someone. And I'm going to do a full video on this, but basically, you reject someone in the way and with the respect you would want to be rejected. You can't take responsibility for their feelings. You cannot hide someone from all bad things in life. You cannot hide someone from all pain. And I think it's almost the beautiful part of the feminine spirit and energy to want to do that and to want to protect. It's that empathy that is just so powerful in women, but you can't protect someone from all sources of pain throughout their life. And if you do, you actually disinhibit them because you never allow them to grow. If you take the classic child who's brought up in cotton wool and never allowed to be offended, that person is just so easy to rile and they have no resilience and no coping mechanisms. So you can't protect someone from pain. Here's what you can do. You can reject them in the way and with the respect you'd like to be rejected. And as long as you've done that right, then your hands are clean. I mean, you're not going to probably send a text after 4 dates. You're probably going to give that guy a call. You're going to do it respectfully, or you might do it in person and say, "Look, I think I'd rather us be friends, or I'm just not feeling this. So I wanted to let you know." You do it in the way that you are proud of, because if you do it in the way that you are proud of, his reaction then is his responsibility. He can take it away and go and be jaded. Or he can take it really well, and that's up to him, and he can go through that. That's not your concern. You can't take responsibility for his feelings. What you can do is take responsibility for acting in the highest value way that you possibly can. Everything after that is on him. So don't do this thing where you just ghost, because that's easy, but then he'll get pissed because he's been ghosted, and he'll start ghosting other women, and it'll just become this silly cycle. The more you do it with respect, the more you're going to have positive flow-on effects and pay it forward to everyone in dating. Second question comes from 𝐀𝐿�08. 𝐀𝐿�08 writes, Hey Mark, I'm a huge fan of yours. Thank you, 𝐀𝐿𝐷. I have one question. Why some men are confusing? Oh god. When you give them attention, they will start to keep distance, and when I start to ignore them because the way he treats me, he starts to get my attention. Is it true that if you want a guy to like you, you should treat them as trash? A guy friend told me that quote. Is it true? No, Chi, it is not true at all. You do not treat anyone. Why would you treat anyone you liked like trash? Would you treat your family like trash if you wanted them to like you? Would you treat your dog like trash if you wanted it to like you? If you want to form positively connected relationships, you don't start them by treating someone like trash. That's nonsense. Utter nonsense. If you do that, you're going to attract men who, I suppose, number one, enjoy being treated like trash, so they have no self-esteem or self-respect, and number two, form relationships where you treat each other like trash, because what you do in dating becomes the relationship. It's just more of the same. Now, Chi, I think what your guy friend is trying to say in a very misdirected way is don't prioritize people who don't prioritize you, but it definitely doesn't mean treating people like trash. It just means having those healthy priorities, and when a guy invests, you invest, but you don't throw all your investment at a man who is just not done much to earn it or not done anything to earn it, because that is not going to generate his respect. What's going to generate his respect is he has to work his way up your priorities list. And I'm pretty sure, at least I hope, that's what your friend means here. And the last question is a really good one, actually. It comes from Ida 𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐔𝐓. Anyway, congratulations. This is on the 10K video. I would have a question for you. How can you talk about some more serious things with guys? We are in the getting to know each other better phase. Awesome. But I do not want to talk about these superficial things all the time, like movies or hobbies. Right. I really want to get to know him and his opinion about life. Yeah, this is cool. But I do not want to scare him away. Because I think that way I can make a better decision if I want to be in a relationship with him and see what values he has. Thanks for your reply in advance. Again, I really love this question because Ada's really thought about this. She's going, okay, I've been on a few dates. I need to properly qualify this guy now. Is this guy actually relationship material? She's doing something that a lot of women skip, which is going, I know I like him, I know he's attractive, now I need to qualify him. And that step gets forgotten a lot. So here's what I'd say, Ada. I would say gear your questions towards things that elicit his values. So instead of talking about, oh, what movie do you like, or what's your favorite hobby, ask him something like, if you could wake up anywhere tomorrow, where would you wake up and why? If you could have any job in the world and money was no issue, what would you do and why? If you were president and you could change one policy on anything, what would it be and why? So these are really interesting questions, and basically they're designed to elicit his value. You can do them in all sorts of different ways. What would be, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? You want to bring out interesting ways of eliciting his values, and his questions, or sorry, his answers here are going to stimulate some really cool conversation. Now he might also be like, what the fuck is this? I just want to talk about movies again, and you'll be like, okay, so this guy can't have a real conversation. That's a telling thing too. And you can do it as a game as well. Like, let's say, make it fun. Let's say, okay, we're going to go to bowling, or we're going to go to the time zone, like the game arcade. We're going to have a competition, and for each winner, you get to ask the other person a question. That way you're not throwing out these random questions kind of out of nowhere. You can do that in the context of the conversation, but ideally, you just have it as like a fun game where you go, okay, I just whooped your ass at like Thwomper Croc, now I get to ask you whatever question I like, and you have to answer honestly. It's a really cool way to get to know someone on dates. It's lots of fun because you're adding in that competitive element, and like I say, it brings out their values, so you get to know if they are really the type that you would want in a relationship. Guys, that covers Ask Mark for today from beautiful Mulaney. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's video. We'll be back in a week's time for another Ask Mark. As always, I love doing these, so I'm going to absolutely keep these up for all of you. A couple more videos will be up in the meantime as well, and make sure you, comment with your questions below, put them in, make sure you give the video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel with the little bell so you get notifications. I love you all, and I shall see you very soon.